Welcome everyone to another series on Between the Threads. I'm really excited. We have another change maker that we'll be speaking with today. Her name is Yuko Kudo. She's an amazing artist, creator, everything, because there's not one word that describes her. And very excited to introduce you. Yuko, please tell the audience a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you so much, Isabel, for having me. And wow, okay, you make me blush right now. So that's a great start. My name is Yuko Kudo, and I am an artist. And artist is a very broad term, but I am very multi-hyphenated everything. And what I do involve art, people, and social good. So anything that is under that category, I am in that field. Yeah.
Thank you, Yuko. So let's jump in, because let me just tell the audience and then you can explain a little bit more, but you had a live show and it was something that you created. You had a team, you produced, you sang, you played the piano, you just shared, I would say you shared your heart, your soul. And it was very moving. We're really inspiring. And I even shared, like, there was like one, like, I resonated with everything, right? But there's one song about saying goodbye to like what love was. That was it. I was like, boom. And I knew it was like that just felt. But can you please share a little bit more about your show and what you shared with the world and your process?
Absolutely.
What inspired you to do this? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much and also sharing your experience with me. It was so humbling for me to hear from other folks as in people who are outside of my team, right? Because it's so different than doing a show in person and having an audience right in front of me. So the show was called I Came Here to Be Loved. It was a third of my one woman show series. It's a one woman musical show. And initially I wanted to do it in person, and I was actually planning on taking it on a tour in the beginning of last year, but for obvious reason, COVID happened and we weren't able to do that. So it looked completely different from what I planned it in the beginning. The script is different, the music is obviously different, how we present is also different, and it really is about how I felt so different from the people around me, how I felt not understanding who I am or what I do in the field of whatever it is that we're in, art or in the community engagement world or the social impact world, whatever it is, that I felt so different everywhere I went. And that directed me towards a different avenue, and I feel like a lot of things are coming together. If I can use your words, I think threads are being woven in together, and it's so beautiful what I was able to create. So we called it as a digital hybrid production for this particular one. We had no audience. We had a pre-recorded footage, it's a segment to utilize for the transition period, as well as everything live. That means live music, live singing, live performance, and everything else was done in live situation. So it was a really interesting, because we've never done that before. This format of a theater or live experience doesn't really exist right now. So it was challenging for us to really figure out what would work, what would not work, or what do we want to try, or what is too much, what is too little. Everything was just an experiment, and can we have fun? And I had an amazing team, which I'm so grateful for, because without them, none of this was possible. My director, Brandon Remaker, and my production manager, Sheena Francis, and the full out creative. We did a full out production, so I always want to call them the full out creative. But Kyle Beckley and Sandy Shelton, as well as our amazing set designer David Hedge. We call him Alchemist Dave, and a pre-recorded footage. It was filmed by amazing partner of mine, Michael Gatrone, and 7 of us came together to really create the show. And inspiration for this show was, again, it started from my story. It started from my story of not feeling like I belong in this world. I don't feel anywhere. And then it sparked into something deeper than that. I kept hearing people talk about this topic. So yes, I knew that this needs to be shared, the story on its own, and the universal scale that needs to be shared. All the details are different, but people are looking for something that they can belong, looking for clarity around who they are and their callings are, looking for some connection to what pre-COVID era versus what it could look like. There are people are trying to figure things out and not sure where they exactly are. And it is that's the story. The story is exactly that. So I really wanted to tell this story, and it was my opportunity for me to really own my story and being able to tell it unapologetically. So it was a very, very empowering praxis, empowering process to do that. And as production kept going, as the process, rehearsal, and everything kept going, what added to that was really understanding what this production as a whole means in art and entertainment industry right now. Because of the COVID, we're the first to go and we're the last to come back in this world right now. But art is needed, culture is needed, and these, because of this format, healing gets to happen, cultural shift gets to happen, all these initiative gets to happen. So art and culture, art and entertainment, it's so important and yet often taken as a luxury, so people don't focus on that, right? And what it meant for me was, what does it mean for us as a team to create a sustainable theater making, and what does it look like for us to create a new level of access in the theater industry, both on a production side as well as an audience side. And access means like ticketing price to geological where they are from, or maybe they are in a wheelchair and they can come to the physical theater space. So all of these different aspects of that. And so combining all of that, it meant so much more than, oh, I just wanted to create this one person show. This is so much bigger than that. And then we're creating this as a team. So towards the end, I hear this often in the social impact space, but it was about me, but it's not really about me. And it was just such a beautiful experience. And I felt like a lot of people resonated with that story. And a lot of theater folks and non-theater folks have commented on like how that story would touch them like in one way or the other. So it was very, very inspiring on my end as well. So
Yes, Yuko, thank you so much. You hit on a lot of different points. Let me go back to, so definitely because I know something that a lot of people always feel is not being able to fit in and not feeling like they belong, and then trying to, I kind of say, like, contort themselves to kind of fit into like these different areas. And boy, if anyone can understand, I can empathize. But it's also understanding that sometimes it takes that trying to fit in to finally realize you're so different. And the thing is, we all are. We're all different. We're all unique. We all have our own like individualism, our own artistic expressions, and how we're supposed to have and give to the world, like our own message. And what's interesting is it's being open to, you don't fit in, but in reality, you're a leader and pioneer in what you're doing in your I call it the soul journey, in your journey, and you're not supposed to, and we're
right.
not supposed to, but it's that understanding and accepting too, and definitely and like stepping into that and owning it. But it takes time. It takes time and patience and compassionate with yourself and all the things that you've gone through, because everything you've done and everything that has happened has led you to here today.
Right.
And what's cool is how you were sharing, um it's 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 bigger because you were able to express your heart, your passion, your soul, and it actually ends up empowering others to do the same and for them to look into themselves and then the greater picture. That's why I say again, you're pioneering, even though what happened with COVID, it's like a blessing in disguise because you couldn't do it in person. You just opened a new whole avenue for so many more people to see the art, the culture, and like relate and have like this platform that they can, through art and through what you do, to be able to just to feel vulnerable and open that they're like in this, someone else understands. I'm not the only one. So that right there, I was like, oh my God, it just gets so excited hearing that because that's part of what it is to, I feel it's it's a blessing and a curse, but it's like, but at the end, it's really more of a blessing because it's like we have to go through that to understand, honey, you're a leader, you are a pioneer, you are a change maker, because that's what you're working on yourself and expressing to others and letting them be, to empower them to do the same. Yay.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. And I love what you said about blessing in disguise piece. I think that was very, very true to us because it opened up so much avenue for us, right? And in the beginning, I said I wanted to take it on a tour so I can see it, show it to a different group of folks who are not in New York. And look what happened, because we are open it and presented it virtually. Not only we were able to share that with the folks within New York and tri-state area, but also we had folks watching it from at least 3-4 different time zones in the West Coast and somewhere in Midwest. And I had my family member and friends in Japan watching it. So it was really cool that me being stationary in New York City, but the impact and the people who I get to touch in the other geographic area is still happen. And had it not been for the COVID, that possibility was not created, because I thought and we thought the live theater should look in a certain way, you know?
Oh, that's so exciting because you're now able to touch soap. You already did. And now it's just like, whoosh. So the next question is, so obviously in an industry, we're always trying to make it better, but I wanted to ask if you've ever encountered a pushback and how you experienced that pushback in your industry.
So when I received this question, I thought it was hilarious. Not to be cynical or whatnot, because the way I have evolved myself, through the journey of what I'm doing right now has been flipped upside down, literally, right? When I was pursuing the traditional, quote unquote, traditional way of being in an art and entertainment field, like auditioning and going to casting director, going to networking to meet so and so, like every single time I went into those space, being who I am on its own, being a 4'10" Asian woman, an immigrant, I thought that was the biggest pushback in the industry, because there were no need for that type, right? Like you go on a casting, like a breakdown, and you see it must be attractive, 5'6" and above, must be blonde, must be European, look like model. Like I look nothing like that, right? So while I was pursuing the traditional way of, or what it seems like a traditional way of pursuing the acting, being who I am on its own was a pushback. That felt like that. And turning into now, because I create my own material, because I create art that's related to social impact, because I create things with the folks who are in the community of what we might call it a historically oppressed or historically excluded group of representation, who I am is actually the biggest asset. If I want to apply for a grant, if I want to apply for the fellowship, those three, Asian, woman, and immigrant, that's like golden ticket to having more opportunity right now. You know what I mean? So the pushback was really me not giving myself a permission to say who I am is enough, right? So now how I overcome, or on the journey of overcoming, is constantly, can I say yes to myself before I say no to myself? Because I have been, and most likely I will be my own worst enemy for the rest of my life, because I'm so critical of myself. I am so perfectionist. And so I would say no to things even when other people say yes to me. So how can I say yes to myself when other people see so much in me, but I don't? So I had to keep practicing and training myself and training my mind to say yes. So that's the biggest pushback that I am constantly working to overcome and to evolve and to grow, to go farther.
Thanks for sharing, because definitely, so you hit on some really great points again, Yuko. And it's like being able to, understanding too, because we are always going to be our own worst enemy, and then we're always going to be our best friend. But it's like we have to go through kind of like we have to go through that darkness, those shadows, to finally get to the light, understanding, oh dang.
Sorry.
Oh,
it was my alarm. I totally forgot.
It's like, yeah. Understanding that it is a practice. It's not overnight. It's not, I'm going to meditate today and woo, that's it. No, my friends. No, it's not.
Nope.
It's work. It takes looking into yourself. It takes an introspection. And then there's this thing that I do that it's kind of, let me see how to explain it, where you look at yourself in third party. So if you were to third person, so if you were, so here's the best example. Here's you doing your show that you just did. And then you step outside and you actually look like you're someone else, not you. You start to, you see who you are. So that was something I started to practice and to share with others, to see you as someone else sees, because how you see yourself is not how someone else sees you. Like for me, I'm like so inspired, so empowered, such a beautiful person inside and outside. And like every time it's just like that, so your heart like shines out. And it's interesting because it's the more you can see yourself from how someone else sees, and then you start to like, and it's not to take everything what they say, it's like, because then you're like, oh, you start to be more open for yourself to see how you are, because then you will see, oh my God, hold on, I'm pretty cool, I'm pretty amazing, hold on, let me sit back for a minute, I just did that.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes that practice and the pushback too, and just being who you are too. Because I've heard what the stereotypical things that they're looking for when they're casting. Because I've seen that before. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. Because society has put this unrealistic view of what beauty is and like who it is and what person and how it's supposed to be, which is poo-poo, because it's just, if you see it from their perspective, they're just trying to make money. It's what sells. But we're the ones, we're going to be breaking that barrier because that's not right, because it's we're going to break it. And it's like, not, we are what we have been, we are, and we're going to continue.
Exactly.
When we come in as us, ourselves, you. Oh, I just get so excited. Oh,
no, you got me excited right now, so thank you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the next thing let's see. I was gonna ask, what are some upcoming projects that you're working on? Oh, and then actually, before I get there, I know it was a live show. Is that something that people would be able to watch later? Like if they could, I know you can like rent or like pay to watch like in the future. Is that something you're looking to do? Because that just came into my head. And then what are some upcoming projects you're working on?
Great. For the show that we just did, I know for the folks who previously RSVP, we are giving them another opportunity to see it because we just added the caption for the folks who are prefer to read it, right? And also for hearing imperative and whatnot. So that's another access that we are able to provide, and that's really, really inspiring for us. And so we'll definitely like explore what it looks like in the future to share that more publicly. Like our team are meeting on Monday, so we're gonna have more discussion about that in super hype. So thank you for asking, and I'll definitely keep you updated. And my next project, actually, this is what I'm currently working on, and this is called Untouched Storytellers. It's a documentary series. My partner Michael Cutrone and I are working together with this amazing small business company, small business, no, minority owned small business media company, right? Simple Alien. And I'm so grateful for our partnership in this process to really showcase the story of artists and human resilience. And what we are doing is by telling the story, we help people find the renewed appreciation in art and life. Because the story of humanity, the story of artists in New York, it's so deeply ingrained, and yet we don't see the whole picture of it. We as a creative, as an artist, we know what the world looks like, but for the rest of the world, they see the product of it. They see the show that goes up on stages. They see they see on the YouTube or any digital media, but in the process between, people don't get to see that, the ups and down. And I think what we see on a documentary, especially in the feature length documentaries, what we see in the market are really people who have quotes and quotes made it, right? Like, and we appreciate that story, and we have so much to learn, but can we learn from the folks who are actually in the work right now, so that we can create more community bonding, so we can create more support and really understand the people behind all these creativity and change the narrative. And all these folks we are featuring are really the change makers, right? The change maker who are using art and storytelling to evoke the change in the society, and like understanding who they are, because they're not only being an artist in the world perceive them to be, they are mothers, they are teachers, they are the activists, they are politicians, and so they have more than just one label that people might put on them. So it's been such a huge eye-opening project for myself, as well as people who have been giving us the feedback. So I'm super excited. And if you want to go check that out, it's on YouTube. A few episodes are out, or you can go visit www.untouchedstorytellers.com and people can watch that as well. Yeah, I'm just so excited to be able to create the bridge between the artist's world and outside of that. I think there's so much more opportunity right now to have the collaboration, to cross the bridge and to build the bridge, actually, to see how artists and creative folks can contribute in the world and society and make the world is a better place.
Yes, and I actually saw one of those videos. It's actually the importance of Asian American and actually bringing that more. I definitely saw it. So I'm definitely going to keep watching the next one. I think you launched another one. The most recent was that guy.
Yes.
But
he was actually my director.
Okay, definitely want to watch that too. And I'll definitely,
please do.
For the audience, I'm going to put all that information so they can go and like link to that. But it's amazing how you've unfolded the story for each person, because it is true. And what you were saying is like, we always see the documentaries, like people have made it, but whenever you actually, what you're doing, people are able to realize like, hey, it's kind of like that's kind of like me.
Yeah.
So it's that people can, and then they can get inspired to do whatever their passion is. Because I feel like everyone is there, there's always something that in us that wants to create. It's like sacral chakra is yelling at us. It's like, come on.
Right.
Um,
Add to that, if I may, it's like during last year, a lot of people started to supporting Black artists because they want to support the community, right? Not only to support the art as a product, but they wanted to support the people who are creating it. I think that's the beauty about the shift that's happening right now. They want to support woman-owned business. They want to support the Black and minority or immigrant-owned businesses. And then we get to do the same for the artists. You know, we get to support the female-led campaign. We get to support a queer-led campaign. We get to support folks who are coming from the disabled community. So like not only they're supporting the product, but people who are creating these beautiful art. Yeah.
Which is really important because you're celebrating the actual person and like what they're, yes, and the community too, because that brings the like-minded people together, and it also opens the door to different people that haven't been exposed to that. So it's hitting all kinds of avenues.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And then my favorite question is always all of these, but what are 3 things that you can share with the audience that they can do? Like what are 3 things you can share with the audience when it comes to community, art, doing what you love, breaking out of that not fitting in, everything? What are 3 things that you can share? I know it's a pretty packed, loaded question, but
3 things. First thing is the most difficult one, but most important one. It's know that you're it. You are it. No matter what you do, no matter how you approach whatever it is that you're approaching, you're it. You're the secret sauce to everything. So know that you're it. That's going to be the first one. Second one is surround yourself with the super cheerleaders. Surround yourself with the folks who are going to cherish you. They think that you're a rock star. They think you're the most amazing thing. And they think they can call out on you if you're slacking. People who are not afraid to have those difficult conversations in tough time. So surround yourself with the super cheerleaders. And the third is maybe not an action step, but one quote that I was told by a mentor that hugely impacted me is, you have nothing to prove, but everything to share. That's it.
Beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. And I like that quote as well. So thank you for sharing that and everything.
Thanks for asking.
Yes. And I like how you said that too. You're the secret sauce to, you're it. That's it. And it's simple but complex, but it's because you're the answer.
Yep.
And if you can tell the audience how else we can stay in touch with you and stay up to date.
Absolutely. So you can check out all the social media and whatnot, but best way for you to stay on top of what I'm doing is actually to subscribe my newsletter. You can go to www.yukoislove-live-life.com and your subscription link will pop up in this light box, so you can sign in there. I send it out weekly, and more than social media, more than nothing, like I put up my heart and soul out in those newsletters. So those are the best way to stay in touch with me.
Thank you so much, Yuko. And I'll make sure all those links are down in the description box. And thank you so much, Yuko, for such a beautiful conversation, sharing you here with our audience and can't wait for everything else that wonderful and beautiful that you're doing. So thank you so much, and until next time. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell so you stay up to date whenever I release new videos every week. See you soon!